The Masonic Connection to Jesus and the 32 Degrees of the Scottish Rite by past Master Mchenry. Many people are curious about the relationship between Freemasonry and Christianity, especially the esoteric teachings of the Scottish Rite. In this blog post, I will explore some of the connections and parallels between Jesus and the 32 Degrees of the Scottish Rite, based on my research and experience as a past master of a Blue Lodge. First of all, let me clarify that Freemasonry is not a religion, nor does it require its members to adhere to any specific creed or dogma. Freemasonry is a fraternity that teaches moral and ethical principles through symbols and allegories, derived from various sources of ancient wisdom. Freemasonry respects the religious beliefs of its members and encourages them to practice their faith according to their own conscience. Therefore, Freemasonry does not claim to have any exclusive or authoritative interpretation of the Bible or any other sacred text. However, Freemasonry does acknowledge the existence of a supreme being, the great architect of the universe, or GAOTU. This is a generic term that allows each Mason to worship God according to his own understanding and tradition. Freemasonry also recognizes Jesus as one of the greatest teachers and exemplars of morality and virtue, who embodied the principles of brotherly love, relief and truth. Freemasonry does not deny or affirm the divinity of Jesus, but leaves that matter to the individual judgment of each Mason. That being said, there are some interesting and intriguing connections between Jesus and the 32 Degrees of the Scottish Rite, which I will briefly outline below. These are not official doctrines or dogmas of Freemasonry, but rather personal reflections and insights that I have gained from studying the symbolism and history of the Scottish Rite. The 32 Degrees of the Scottish Rite are divided into four groups: the Lodge of Perfection, 4th to 14th degree, the Chapter of Rose Croix, 15th to 18th degree, the Council of Kadosh, 19th to 30th degree, and the Consistory, 31st and 32nd degree. Each group represents a different stage of spiritual development and enlightenment, as well as a different aspect of human history and civilization. The Lodge of Perfection, 4th to 14th degree, corresponds to the Old Testament era, when God revealed his law and covenant to his chosen people, Israel. The degrees in this group teach about the origin and nature of Freemasonry, as well as its connection to ancient mysteries and traditions, such as the Kabbalah, Pythagoras, Solomon's Temple, etc. The degrees also emphasize the importance of justice, fidelity, integrity and wisdom in Masonic conduct. The Chapter of Rose Croix, 15th to 18th degree, corresponds to the New Testament era, when God manifested his love and grace through his Son, Jesus Christ. The degrees in this group teach about the life and teachings of Jesus, as well as his death and resurrection. The degrees also explore the meaning and symbolism of the cross, the rose, the pelican, etc. The degrees also stress the importance of faith, hope, charity and tolerance in Masonic conduct. The Council of Kadosh, 19th to 30th degree, corresponds to the medieval era, when Christianity faced various challenges and conflicts from within and without. The degrees in this group teach about the history and philosophy of various orders and movements that influenced or opposed Christianity, such as the Knights Templar, the Crusades, the Cathars, etc. The degrees also expose the corruption and tyranny of some religious and political institutions that oppressed human freedom and dignity. The degrees also emphasize the importance of courage, loyalty, honor and liberty in Masonic conduct. The Consistory, 31st and 32nd degree, corresponds to the modern era, when humanity has achieved remarkable progress in science, art, culture and democracy. The degrees in this group teach about the ideals and values that inspire Freemasonry in its quest for universal brotherhood and enlightenment. The degrees also celebrate the achievements and contributions of various Masonic heroes and benefactors who have advanced human civilization. The degrees also emphasize the importance of wisdom, beauty, strength and harmony in Masonic conduct. Now, how does Jesus relate to these four groups of degrees? Well, one way to look at it is that Jesus is present in each group as a different archetype or role model for Masons to emulate. In the Lodge of Perfection, 4th to 14th degree, Jesus is present as the master builder, who came to fulfill the law and the prophets. Jesus is also present as the great teacher, who imparted his wisdom through parables and sermons. Jesus is also present as the Prince of Peace, who brought good tidings of great joy to all people. In the Chapter of Rose Croix, 15th to 18th degree, Jesus is present as the Son of God, who revealed his divine nature and mission. Jesus is also present as the Lamb of God, who sacrificed himself for the sins of the world. Jesus is also present as the King of Kings, who rose from the dead and ascended to heaven. In the Council of Kadosh, 19th to 30th degree, Jesus is present as the Knight of Faith, who overcame the temptations and trials of the world. Jesus is also present as the defender of the truth, who confronted and exposed the hypocrisy and falsehood of his enemies. Jesus is also present as the champion of liberty, who freed his followers from the bondage of sin and death. These are some of the ways that I see Jesus in relation to the 32 degrees of the Scottish Rite. Of course, there are many other possible interpretations and perspectives that one can adopt, depending on one's own faith and understanding. The beauty of Freemasonry is that it allows each Mason to find his own meaning and inspiration in its symbols and allegories, without imposing any dogmatic or sectarian views. Let's get to the light.